Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where soothing stories guide you into a peaceful night's sleep. Enjoy imaginative bedtime stories that take you on a journey to the land of dreams, accompanied by relaxing background sounds to help you unwind and drift off easily. Perfect for both children and adults, Dreamy Tales is your ideal companion to relax, wind down, and enjoy tranquil moments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others. Tune in, relax, and let your mind wander into a world of calm and serenity with us. In the small, remote village of Bramble Hollow, nestled against the ancient forgotten forest, Astra lived a life full of stories and dreams. Her days were spent helping her grandmother with the chores around their cozy cottage at the edge of the village, while her nights were filled with her grandmother's enchanting tales about magical creatures and forgotten realms. The villagers, who were mostly farmers, carpenters, and traders, no longer believed in magic. They dismissed it as the stuff of fairy tales, but Astra's grandmother, once a renowned storyteller, believed that magic still lingered in the world, hidden beneath the surface of the ordinary. Astra's favorite story was about the last unicorn, a creature of immense beauty and power that was said to roam the forgotten forest. The unicorn, with its glistening white coat and a horn that shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, was more than just a legend to Astra, it was a symbol of hope. According to her grandmother, the unicorn's horn had the power to heal any wound, physical or emotional, and could restore balance to the world. But, as the story went, the unicorn had disappeared long ago, retreating deep into the forest as the world grew darker and more cynical. Though the villagers mocked the old tales, Astra believed with all her heart. Every evening, she would slip out of her cottage and wander the edge of the forest, listening to the wind rustling through the trees, watching for any sign of magic. Sometimes, she would catch a glimpse of something, an unusual shimmer in the air, or the faint sound of hoofs on soft earth, but it always vanished before she could follow. One night, as Astra lay awake in bed, the moonlight streaming through her window, she heard a soft, melodic whisper. It wasn't the wind, but something older and deeper. Without a second thought, she slipped out of bed, pulled on her cloak, and quietly tiptoed out the door. The village was asleep, but the forest seemed to be calling to her. She followed the sound, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. The deeper she ventured into the forest, the more the world seemed to change around her. The trees grew taller and denser, their branches twisting together to form a canopy that blocked out the sky. Strange plants glowed softly in the darkness, and the air was thick with the scent of earth and moss. The path she followed was narrow and winding, almost as if the forest itself was guiding her. After what felt like hours of walking, Astra came to a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. The air was still, and the only sound was the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. At the center of the clearing stood a creature unlike any Astra had ever seen. It was the unicorn. The unicorn was even more magnificent than her grandmother's stories had described. Its coat was pure white, shimmering like freshly fallen snow, and its mane and tail flowed like liquid silver. Its horn glowed faintly with an inner light, casting a soft, rainbow-hued glow across the clearing. The unicorn's eyes, deep and dark, held a wisdom that seemed to span centuries. For a long moment, Astra could only stare in awe. She had found it, the last unicorn, the creature of legend that she had always believed in. Slowly, she took a step forward, her heart racing in her chest. The unicorn watched her, its gaze calm and steady. It didn't flee, as she had feared it might. Instead, it seemed to recognize her, as if it had been waiting for her all along. "Are you real?" Astra whispered, her voice barely audible. The unicorn didn't respond, but it stepped closer, its hoofs barely making a sound on the soft grass. Astra reached out a trembling hand, and to her amazement, the unicorn gently lowered its head, allowing her fingers to brush against its silky mane. A warm, comforting energy flowed through her at the touch, filling her with a sense of peace and wonder. But the moment was short-lived. Just as Astra began to marvel at the creature's beauty, a cold wind swept through the clearing, and the peaceful atmosphere shattered. The unicorn raised its head, its body tense, and its horn began to glow brighter. Astra felt a chill run down her spine. Something was wrong. From the shadows of the forest, a figure emerged, a tall, dark-cloaked man riding a black horse. His face was hidden beneath a hood, but Astra could feel the malice radiating from him. It was the hunter. Her grandmother had warned her about hunters like him, men who sought out magical creatures to capture or kill them for their power. This hunter had been searching for the unicorn for years, and now, he had finally found it. "Well, well," the hunter sneered, his voice cold and mocking. "I never thought I'd find the last unicorn, let alone a foolish girl trying to protect it." Astra's heart raced. She had no idea what to do. The unicorn was powerful, but it couldn't fight off the hunter alone, and she had no weapon or magic of her own. Desperately, she glanced around the clearing, searching for something, anything, that could help. But there was nothing. "You can't take it!" Astra shouted, her voice trembling with fear. "The unicorn doesn't belong to you." The hunter laughed, a cruel, harsh sound. "You think you can stop me, little girl? You're as foolish as the stories you believe in." The unicorn took a step forward, its horn glowing brighter as if preparing to defend itself. But Astra could sense that it was afraid. The hunter's presence was unnatural, a dark force that seemed to drain the very life from the forest around them. In that moment, Astra made a decision. She couldn't let the hunter capture the unicorn. It wasn't just a magical creature, it was a symbol of hope, of the magic that still existed in the world. If the unicorn fell into the hunter's hands, that magic would be lost forever. Without thinking, Astra placed herself between the unicorn and the hunter. "You won't take it," she said, her voice steadier this time. "I won't let you." The hunter's eyes narrowed beneath his hood, and for a moment, he seemed taken aback by Astra's defiance. But then, his expression hardened. "Very well," he said, drawing a dark, jagged blade from his cloak. "If you stand in my way, you'll suffer the same fate." Astra's heart pounded in her chest, but she didn't move. She could feel the unicorn's presence behind her, a soft, comforting warmth that gave her strength. She had no weapon, no magic, but she had something else, belief. She had always believed in the unicorn, in the magic of the world, and now, in this moment of danger, that belief was her only shield. The hunter advanced, his blade gleaming in the moonlight. But just as he was about to strike, something incredible happened. A brilliant light erupted from the unicorn's horn, so bright that it momentarily blinded the hunter. Astra felt the ground beneath her feet tremble as the unicorn's magic surged through the clearing. The hunter cried out in anger, stumbling back as the light enveloped him. For a moment, it seemed as though the very air around him was pushing him away, driving him back into the shadows from which he had come. "No," the hunter shouted, his voice filled with fury. "You can't stop me." But the light grew stronger, brighter, until the hunter could no longer stand it. With a final, enraged scream, he turned and fled into the darkness, his dark horse vanishing into the forest as quickly as he had appeared. As the light faded, Astra collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed by the power she had just witnessed. The unicorn stepped forward, gently nuzzling her with its nose, and Astra smiled weakly. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. The unicorn gazed at her with its deep, wise eyes, and for a moment, Astra felt as though they understood each other completely. The unicorn wasn't just a creature of legend, it was a guardian, a protector of the magic that still lived in the world. And now, Astra realized, she was part of that magic too. The unicorn bowed its head, touching its horn to Astra's forehead. A soft, golden light enveloped her, filling her with warmth and peace. When the light faded, Astra felt different. She couldn't explain it, but something inside her had changed. The unicorn had given her something, an ancient, powerful magic that would stay with her for the rest of her life. The unicorn turned and began to walk away, its body shimmering in the moonlight. Astra watched as it disappeared into the forest, its form fading like a dream. But she knew this wasn't the end. The unicorn had entrusted her with its magic, and now it was her turn to protect the forest and the creatures that lived within it. From that night on, Astra became known as the Forest Guardian. The villagers whispered of a mysterious figure who could communicate with the animals, who kept the forest safe from harm. They didn't know it was Astra, the girl who had always believed in magic. But Astra didn't mind. She had found her place in the world, and she knew that the unicorn was still out there, watching over her.